Hey guys, Mark here from TST Industries. In this video, we will show you how to install our in-tail integrated taillight onto your 2007 to 2012 Honda CBR600RR. These taillights are available in a clear or smoke lens and a standard or programmable version. The standard one will be a little more economical than our full-featured programmable one that has several light functions. These lights are a direct fit within the tail of your bike and come pre-fitted with OEM connectors to provide you with a plug-and-play installation. The procedure in this video will enable you to eliminate all this bulky equipment on the rear of your bike and relocate the taillight and signals to within the tail. Now let's cut to Bart, who will show you the installation steps.
So in the first step, we'll be removing the seats, starting with the passenger seat or rear seat cowl. Moving on to the driver's seat, peel back the back corner of the seat. You could access the screws. I actually just undo the screws and leave them captive in here. Makes reassembly easier. And now we can start removing the tail fairing. The removal of the tail fairing is done by undoing these 4 fasteners. Now we'll spread the fairing a little bit on the bottom here, on both sides, and pull it out towards the rear of the vehicle, and put it to the side. In the following step, we'll be removing the rear fender assembly. First step in that will be to remove the wiring for all the electrical equipment that is on the fender. So here I just pry up on the little locking tab and withdraw the plug. Now all this electrical equipment is disconnected. We're ready to remove the fasteners that hold this whole assembly on. These are located 2 on this side and 2 in the same location on the opposite side. We'll now remove those. When I get to the last one, I like to support the fender assembly from the bottom so it doesn't just drop. And now this fender assembly is free to come out. You need to pull it backwards here towards the rear of the vehicle so you can clear these clips from these tabs on the tip of the exhaust. Now we will need to remove the exhaust tip from the exhaust. The exhaust tip on the OEM exhaust on 600RRs is a 2-piece system. You have the plastic cap on the outside, and there is a secondary exhaust tip that's made of aluminum on the inside. Both will need to come off, and both are not reused for the purpose of the TST Industries taillight. In this following step, we'll be removing the exhaust fasteners. Have one on either side of the rear of the exhaust, here and here, and an additional one that gets screwed in to a mount on the mid pipe. It's located in here. So we'll remove that one first. And we can move on to the rear. You want to support your exhaust here a little bit so it doesn't just drop. All right. Now we will want to clear the exhaust from the heat shield. won't drop all the way. You just want it loose enough so we could start working on the heat shield now. We'll need to remove the top heat shield boss from the subtray. And now also, down at the bottom here, we have one remaining screw on this heat shield. As in here, it's an 8mm hex. So we'll need to back that out. Now we will remove the main heat shield of the exhaust. We can manipulate the exhaust and the heat shield until we get that heat shield to clear. We'll remove this heat shield. This will not be reused. Now what we want to do is mount up the lowering links from the optional TST Industries exhaust lowering kit. We will use one of the factory bolts that held the exhaust in the rear here. Put one of the lowering links through the bolt, and using the hardware provided in the kit, we will fasten it to the subframe. Important thing to note, you need to use the nut in this direction with the locking feature towards the flat surface of the washer here. So at this point, we will just hand tighten this assembly, leaving ourselves a little bit of adjustability here. We will repeat the procedure on the left side of the bike. And now we can align the exhaust mounting bosses with our lowering links and start threading in the exhaust screws that will hold the exhaust to them. We'll keep these loose as well, providing adjustability in the system. Like I said, this is an adjustable lowering kit. You could vary the exhaust height to your liking. We'll tighten this up after we mount the tail light on the bike. So at this point, I wanted to quickly touch on how these lowering kits are used. TST Industries provides a 2-link kit and a 3-link kit. For those exhausts that have 2 canister mounts and a mid-pipe mount, some people choose to use a 3-link kit in this fashion. 2 links on here and 1 on here. This is an OEM exhaust. This is a Yoshimura. It also comes with a mid-pipe mount. And the Leo Vince, as you can see, also comes with a mid-pipe mount. Here we have an example of a TOS exhaust. This exhaust does not use a mid-pipe mount, and there are a whole host of exhausts that do not use that mount. For this reason, we've resorted to doing our installs with only 2 links on the canisters only, but some people choose to use the 3-link kit for the added bolted connection. So the choice is up to you, and available to you are the 2-link and the 3-link kit. The installation instructions packet that comes with this taillight comes with a template that you can cut out and superimpose over this geometry. We've cut it out already. We'll superimpose it here. So you'll need to cut out this little hole, and that aligns with the slot for the mounting boss of the OEM heat shield. And then this cutout here clears this geometry, so it's really easy to locate here and gives you a clear idea of where you're going to cut. I'm going to use a little bit of painter's tape to fix it in place. Again, I want to make sure that I have proper alignment. The best way to locate it is through the use of this slot, and then making sure that these 2 corners are all the way to the end. Now that I have it placed properly, I will use a paint marker here to mark where I'm going to cut. I can remove the template. I'll have a nice sharp line of where the cut is going to be applied. Okay, so now that we are ready to cut this subtray here, I will use a rag to protect my exhaust just in case the blade slips. I will use a regular hacksaw. This cut can be done in many ways. I prefer the hacksaw. And now I will just smooth the cut with a nice medium file. So a nice neat job on smoothing this cut will yield a really nice professional looking installation. And I think I'm happy with that. We can proceed to the next step. At this point, we will mount the TST Industries taillight in the tail section of the bike. So you can see it just snaps in and the mounting locations align. We will place this on the bike. And now I will plug it in. We have the main plug for the light. It has 3 conductors. It goes into the white plug of the harness. Then we plug the brown wire to the blue plug and the green wire to the orange plug. I'll now test the functions. Running light, brake light, left signal, right signal. If you're installing the programmable version, you can switch the programs and you could get strobe brake. You could also get scanning signals. At this point, the signals are flashing extremely fast, and that's because we still have the OEM relay here. This is the OEM relay right behind the fuse box here. What we're going to do later is replace it with this TST Industries relay, and that will slow down the flash rate. So at this point, I'm going to shut the bike off, and I'm going to route the taillight wire outside of the trunk compartment. The wire has to be run outside of the trunk compartment because this location right here, this is where the rear seat has 2 standoffs that put pressure on the subframe here. And if your wire runs right underneath it, it will likely get grinded through and cause a short circuit. So it looks like everything's aligned really nicely. My wire is run outside of the trunk compartment, and I'm now ready to tighten up the exhaust in its final place. I will push the exhaust up to the top limit of its adjustment range here in the lowering kit. I need to slip off the fairing just a little bit to gain access to the subframe bolts here. And tighten the subframe to lowering link connections first. I'm going to tighten the lowering link to exhaust connections. And I'll slip the tail fairing over the subframe here. All right, so I have a couple things worth noting here. As you can see, we have a pretty decent gap between the exhaust and the tail light. The minimum required gap is 3/16 of an inch, so you don't have to hang your exhaust this low. We do not recommend reusing the OEM exhaust cap, as it will take away from the visibility of your tail light. If you're still using the OEM exhaust, we recommend our carbon fiber TST Industries exhaust tip. It'll preserve your visibility and it'll make your exhaust look a little bit nicer. If you have an aftermarket exhaust, you probably don't have that problem. Since you've eliminated your fender along with the license plate mount here, you'll need to do something about mounting your license plate on your bike. TST Industries provides a license plate mount that goes right here under the tail, under the exhaust here. So we recommend using this or some other holder for your license plate to make your bike street legal. At this point, we'll replace all the fasteners, replace all the parts, and then the installation will be complete. This installation is complete and you're ready to ride.